Good morning, everybody. I'm really excited about this talk today. It's really special to my heart as a birth worker, birth keeper, holistic midwife. And this is so freaking important because I really believe how we birth affects everything we do. Affects our how our society looks at birth, affects everything. And no, whether you're a mom or a birth worker or a person on this earth, we all have a say in how we birth. And having the womb ready to receive that life and is so important, and I'm so excited to be a part of this. And I'm going to introduce the speaker, Rachel Ballensat. She is dear to my heart, and the aspect that she lives and talks the walk, right? And she really is behind what she does and about health, detoxing. And she's an Ayurvedic, she's comes from a background of Ayurvedic practitioner. She also is an reads eyes, which is dial. I can't even say it. But and she's a
Iridology.
iridology, and she's also a regenerative health practitioner. And take it away, Rachel, and thank you so much for your
Thank
heart
you.
and your love.
Oh, thank you, Margaret. It's really good to see you. I've been missing you, and it's just so great to have a nurse on our team. It's just amazing what you do and that you work with in the birth world. That's such important work, and it's so important because women really need support, and they need support from people like you who really care and also have the bigger picture around nutrition and all that. So thank you for what you're contributing to that world, the birth world. Thank you, everyone. And it's great to be here. This is a really important talk that we call it the womb body. So the womb body, it covers everything, right? So everything female, all the different stages of womanhood, all the stages of the female body, all the stages of those who have a womb. And it starts when we're born, our ovaries are created when we're born. Our what's in our what we have when we're born, when we're in the womb, we have the women who, when we're in our mom's womb, the girls, when they're in their mom's womb, have ovaries already. And then those ovaries have the eggs that they're going to then pass on and have children with. And so you're in your mom's body, you already have the next generation. So your mom actually has the seeds for her grandchildren in her body. How cool is that? So neat. And so we begin with this interesting journey that is so unique as a female, all the way through having our first period. And we're going to talk about every stage from girlhood to becoming fertile to being pregnant in the stages of pregnancy to then having a baby, and then the postpartum that can follow, all the way up and through menopause, where we stop having our cycle. And so it's a journey. Today's talk is a journey. We are going to hear from Heather, who is also an amazing woman and friend who I've gotten to meet through our team. And she has a wonderful story of recovery of her birth process and recovering from postpartum and all kinds of things. So you're going to get a chance to also hear her story, because some people have a wonderful experience and they have a great, and it's like great all the way through. They have an amazing period. It doesn't hurt. There's no pain. They have a wonderful conception. They have a wonderful pregnancy. They do fine through all the 3 stages. They're not going through like all the crazy food cravings and vomiting. And then they give birth, and then they have a healthy child, and then they are healthy, and then they feel great, and then they go on, and then there's no problem at menopause. And then they're just like, oh, they just stop having their cycle, but no big deal. They don't have hot flashes. They don't have any pain. They don't have any of the exhaustion and all the things that have become associated with menopause. And so why do some women have that trajectory through life, and then others might, like at teenagehood, when they first start having their period, their very first period is blood curdling pain, where they're just like in excruciating pain, doubled over. They can't go to school. They feel awkward. They don't even go to class. They actually have to take weeks off of school every month because they're in so much pain and they don't even know why. It's awful. It's awful, like how much women miss out on life who are struggling with their menstrual cycle. Maybe they have migraines like Tara Shea did, and hopefully we'll get to hear from her as well around that menstrual cycle. She also recovered from having migraines through nutrition. So what's different is the underlying root cause of every single issue along the way. And we often just say it's hormonal. Like that's just kind of a good generic answer. Oh, I'm having hormonal issues. Well, we know that the hormones are somehow involved in our reproductive organs, and that we have different hormones than men, and so in the male bodies, right? That like we don't have necessarily the same hormonal output, and the womb requires a whole bunch of different types of nutrition. We actually require more carbohydrates when we're pregnant, and we actually need carbohydrates to feed the brain of the children that we're creating in our wombs. So we actually really need carbs. And so I'm going to talk about the difference between protein and carbs in this whole interesting conversation. Eat more protein, you're pregnant. Oh my gosh, you need to avoid fruit. It's terrible. Like we have this fruit fear, and it's so ironic because honestly, 95% of breast milk is glucose. It's sugar. Only 1.5% is protein, which should tell you something about what the baby needs. What does it need? 95% carbs. What are we feeding it? What are we hungry for? What are you hungry for when you're pregnant? Oh, well, I didn't have children in this life, but I did get pregnant and twice. And the first time all I could eat was brown rice. It was literally the only food I could eat or I would vomit. Like everything made me sick. That was it. Because my body was craving carbs. Because that baby needs carbs to grow. 95% of the brain is carbohydrates. That's like the largest part of the body when the baby's developing. Okay. So this is going to be really interesting to hear Heather's story in light of this. Okay. She's got a great story. The whole protein carb thing really came up for her during her pregnancy, and like how she switched her diet. So I think we'll just like hop right into that, because I think, Heather, your story is a great place to start. You just really kind of our culture today is very interesting and so confusing, what to eat, how to eat. And I think that your story, what you experienced, how you ate before up into your pregnancy, and then how you had to switch, really is highlights the nutritional yearning that our bodies have during pregnancy. So and then I'm going to go back after Heather. I'm going to talk about PCOS a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about other things that kind of have, because I kind of went out of order, but I did want to talk about, girlhood and like having our period, and how, why there's pain and all that kind of stuff. But go ahead and share your story, Heather. I got you on the spotlight. You look great.
Yeah.
Good
Oh,
to see
thank
you.
you. Thank you. Yeah, it's beautiful out today.
Yay.
Yay. So yeah, so I'm gonna back up my story just a little bit
I
because
could
there's
interview you too.
oh, okay, that sounds good.
I could interview. So like, what were you eating before you got pregnant? Like, how were you doing? Like, what was your lifestyle before you got pregnant? And then what happened during your pregnancy?
Yeah, so I was on the ketogenic diet for like a year and a half, and I was actually coaching people on how to do the keto diet and detox. So I thought um had like I had great success. I lost a lot of weight, and I felt really good up until getting pregnant. And when I first got pregnant, I actually miscarried that baby. And I was really like, I'm putting the dots together. I was really like sticking to the keto diet because I didn't want to gain the weight back. And after that miscarriage, I noticed that like my cravings, like my hormones went crazy. I was like so emotional. My emotions were all over the board. You know, I was grieving, but I was also like so hungry. My body was like, I just need to eat carbs. I was like craving cereal in the morning where before I would be able to fast. I was like, I can't even fast anymore. And and immediately after, like, I think my next cycle, I ended up getting pregnant, and this is the pregnancy that stuck. And I think my body was just telling me, like, you need the carbs. And I didn't really realize that until I met you. um, and so throughout my whole pregnancy, I really wasn't set up right nutritionally because I was so in my mind. I had like fruit fear, I had carb fear, but then I was having these terrible cravings. And so like I was just eating whatever really, but not the right stuff. Like I wasn't eating like the good brown rice or the quinoa. I wasn't eating the fruit. It was like the processed carbs was like what kept me from feeling nauseous, really. Otherwise, I was feeling nauseous. And so I gained a lot of weight in my pregnancy. And then afterwards, I gave birth to my daughter, Ember, in April of 2020 during a pandemic. And I gave birth to her totally naturally. It was an amazing birth. I did some hypnobirthing beforehand and really learned about the conditioning that happens around the whole idea that that giving birth is supposed to be painful and we need a doctor to facilitate childbirth. I really was empowered myself during the pandemic and just learned a lot about how to have a natural childbirth. So I was happy about that. Um, and so right after giving birth, I was like, okay, I'm hopping right back on that keto diet. I got to lose this weight. And was still just really having a hard time sticking with it because I felt really terrible. I felt like so exhausted. Um, and like,
Were you breastfeeding during this time?
I was breastfeeding,
Yeah.
yeah, solely. She wouldn't take a bottle. And yeah, I just like even like all the meats and cheeses and stuff just didn't sound quite as good to me. But I was kind of lost because my mind was like such a trajectory, right? And
Mhm.
so like worked a little bit, like the weight was coming off, and then like all of a sudden it just like every time I got on the scale, it was like a pound or two more. And it like slowly crept up, and I was weighing more than I did when I was 9 months pregnant, just a few months ago. And then I met Rachel and Tara Shea. And they taught me about the superfoods detox. And I started it about 70 days ago. And I'm like regaining my energy back. I've lost 16 pounds now. And like it's just been easy to do with such a busy lifestyle and a toddler. It's been profound in my life to
Oh my
have this
gosh.
healing and energy back.
That's so amazing. That's so beautiful. I'm so happy. Now, it's really interesting. So, when people eat high protein, low carb diets, they actually oftentimes they stop having as much breast milk because breast milk is made of carbs, right? To have healthy breast milk, the best thing to eat is potatoes and fruit, right? And barley green juice. These are like really, really powerful for like healthy breast milk. And so it's really interesting that you were trying to do keto and which is low carb, high protein, high fat. It's really the opposite of what your breast milk needs. And your body was wanting one thing, and yet your mind was fighting what your body was knowing.
Right.
And then you ended up with like processed foods because there's that craving is so strong. We always give into the craving as like always like the bad processed food thing.
Oh,
And now you're still breastfeeding and you've been able to lose weight. You've been on this 90-day protocol. And by the way, those we didn't even mention, but we're partnered with a company that has this 90-day protocol that's called the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. And it's really amazing for detoxing. It's amazing for weight loss. And it's also helpful if somebody's underweight to gain weight, because the truth is it's really all about homeostasis. What's happening is your body is coming into homeostasis. This is not like a weight loss diet. This is you adding fuel, nutrition, healthy carbs, healthy greens, healthy chlorophyll filled foods into your diet that is actually I mean, you're doing wonderful things. Your daughter's getting to have this amazing diet now, right? She's also
Oh
drinking the
my gosh.
shakes, plus she's breastfeeding. So she's getting all the goodness, becoming the
Totally.
healthiest
Yeah.
baby.
And I've noticed her cravings change too. So where before she was like addicted to these organic cereal bars, and then I scanned them with the Yuka app, and
Mhm.
it was like a horrible rating on
Oh
there. And
no.
so I was like, we got to get rid of these things. And so I started giving her the superfood shakes instead, and she was like not even like begging for them like she would
Amazing.
before. And now she's like, just now I was like, you want a snack? And she chose carrots, hummus, and strawberries.
Aw, instead of the snack bar.
Yeah, yeah. And before it was always,
Great.
I want a bar, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the shakes that come in this protocol and this detox and this it's really just an immune building, protocol. It does also have the healthiest grains, which are quinoa and millet. So the power shake actually has quinoa and millet, which is actually ideal when you're pregnant, is to, like, if you're going to do carbs, you want to have, if you're going to do grains, you want to have quinoa or millet. Those are the best grains to have, and those are actually in the power shake. So this is really great for pregnancy, and great for postpartum, which we can even talk about that. So postpartum, like, you said I think you talked about being exhausted. Can you talk a little bit about your exhaustion and kind of like what it was like postpartum?
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I often like at the end of the day felt like my limbs were like sandbags. And then I was craving like sugar. And so as a result, I was drinking like a lot of wine. Where before I
Yeah.
was like had more control over it. I felt like I lost complete control. And I wouldn't say I was an addict because I wasn't like getting drunk, but it was like I had to have that glass or two at night. Um, and if I wasn't drinking, I wanted chocolate or some kind of dessert.
Yeah.
So I've been able to totally kick the wine and the dessert. I have
Okay.
zero cravings
That's
for sure.
amazing. Yeah, because this is like giving you all the healthy carbs that your body needs. And so you're getting the nutrients that your needs, because cravings are what, right? Our hunger cravings are the body searching for nutrients. That's all the body's looking for. A lot of times we think it's just calories. And so that's why we'll overeat. We'll just like keep eating the processed food because we're still not getting the nutrients even from the processed food. So we'll overeat. And that's another thing that can lead to weight gain. Um,
I was totally overeating, by the way. Like we
yeah.
would get burritos and I'd eat the entire thing, like huge, like a baby itself.
Yeah, and your body was probably still trying to make up from all the keto years. So
Yeah.
this is something that I see very commonly in keto people who eat keto people, whether you're plant-based or keto, you're going to lose in the beginning. People will usually lose weight because they're not eating the packaged foods. They're not eating the processed foods. And so this is something that, you know, they might have in common with somebody who's plant-based, right? Even though plant-based people can also totally eat processed foods. We can eat, the organic cookies and all that, cereal and all that stuff. But
Beyond burgers.
right. But keto really makes you stop eating all that stuff because you're not supposed to eat carbs. And so then people avoid packaged foods, which is a good thing. And this is why people do well in the beginning. But the problem is that all that protein, you can't separate the protein from the fats. And those fats are going to cause exhaustion because those fat feed pathogens in the body. So the fat of the actual meat and dairy itself and eggs have all these different properties that are toxic. They're acidic, right? So it's acidic. So your acidity actually lowers the immune system. It actually makes it harder for the body to have energy. It actually, in the long run, it's going to cause, over time, it's going to cause fatigue, adrenal fatigue. So I see it again and again and again. People do keto. At first they lose weight and then they suddenly gain it all back, and they gain it back with a vengeance, right? You said like you went keto again after birth, but you were putting on pounds, right? Or it wasn't helping you lose weight. You were at this point now probably where your liver is now is like full. And so now your body is just starting to gain weight. So this is something I see again and again after keto, is people will suddenly gain 60 pounds. I've seen people suddenly gain 60 pounds after doing keto for a while and it working. Then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, I just blimped out. And then we've also got, the fact that the fat is also feeding all these viruses, can feed any viral load. So this is really interesting. So sometimes, so here, let's talk about the pregnancy. So when people, when we're pregnant, the body is protecting the baby, and so it's going to put 90% of our reserves, like 85% of our reserves, into taking care of this baby. And so our immune system is going to go to protecting the baby. Everything is going to go to protect the baby, and so we're more vulnerable. The woman, the parent, the mom is more vulnerable during the pregnancy than before the pregnancy. They might have been fine. They might have actually have been totally healthy, right? Might have been doing great, but when their bodies, when their body starts to go into the pregnancy, their immune system now is going to the baby. And so it's really important to have to detox actually before conceiving. It's extremely important to do something like this protocol that you're doing now. It's great to do it now. I mean, thank God you have it now, and thank God it's helping you and you're feeling better and you've got all this energy and like your whole life is changing, right? Like you're like the shining pillar of health now. And anybody who's wanting to conceive, I want to say it's really important to detox before conceiving if you can, because you want to remove the metals, you want to remove the pesticides, you want to remove any glyphosate. And that's a whole other thing, is glyphosate, right? Is like glyphosate is the toxin in Roundup, and we're getting it everywhere. We're getting it everywhere. We're getting it from the air we breathe. We're getting it from eating out at restaurants. I mean, I can't even, I can only maybe find like one organic restaurant in this, and it's all the way in Santa Rosa. We don't even have one in Sebastopol anymore. So, even trying to find organic is really hard. So we really want to remove all the toxins that can go to the baby and that also are going to make us weak during that pregnancy. Right. So is there anything else in your story, Heather? I would love to, I didn't mean to cut you off, but if there's any more.
Yeah, so I definitely have noticed a change in my menstrual cycles. In fact, my last cycle completely caught me off guard. I had no idea it was coming because normally I have major warnings where I'm like super, super tired, and like my breast will just really, really hurt. And to the point where it's like I don't even want to breastfeed because they hurt so bad. And this time there was zero breast pain and I wasn't tired at all. I was at a camp out with Tara Shea, and I was like, I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea this was coming. It was
That's so
amazing,
great.
really.
Oh my gosh, that is so wonderful. I
Yeah.
love it because so many women have to struggle with pain several times a year, 12 times a year. We're like, oh, here it comes, and that's their whole life. In fact, it'd be great to bring Tara Shea into this conversation if you're ready, Tara Shea, because Tara Shea, are you ready? Yes, let's bring
Sure.
you in. So Tara Shea, who is a dear friend, who also she's a healer as well, mindset practitioner. Now you've been plant-based for a long time. You're really into health and nutrition. Like you're somebody who always has, you come to the parties, the picnics, that you just come over to our house with like always like all these different little good delicious foods, that are healthy and beautiful and vibrant. And so this was like already your mindset before you did this, this protocol, this detox. But yet can you talk a little bit about what it was like when you would start to reach that time of month, and your what you call your lava flow would come?
Yeah, thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Heather. Pardon me, we were at that camp out and I was actually on my lava flow. So yeah, well, for years I had really bad symptoms and excruciating pain. Like I was out of school and all through my teen years.
You're one of those.
My grandma had really bad issues that she had her female parts removed. Then I started diving into, well, not stopped. I stopped eating meat. I dived into holistic remedies, just more listening to my intuition on what my body needed to, and to feel my best and to be able to turn other, to share that with others. And really dove into like a deepening the relationship with my womb, with my body, with my heart, with my true self, and kind of awakening to, I feel like a much more healthier, happier avenue. And so I was really passionate about the spiritual, energetic, and emotional root to physical elements, metaphysics, quantum physics. However, we're still physical and we still have this matter and this density. And in this generation, there's not um, the nutrient density in the food with like the depletion of the soil or mass profit marketing productions. And so I was concerned about getting the right vitamins and minerals and taking all these supplements, and I couldn't eat enough food for my body to get really what it needed. And um, I definitely wanted to make sure that I can support my body on every angle that I could. I definitely plan on, I intend to be a mother physically, and with human offspring, because I'm a cat mommy, and just supporting my body and cleansing my womb, cleansing my mind, my heart, my bodies. And I had experienced through the menstrual cycles more like headaches and migraines and it was again related to or so as to thought like the hormone imbalance, but there wasn't seeming a solution. Like I'd gone to naturopaths, nutritionists, my hippie physician, um Ayurveda, my herbalist, osteopath, all of these avenues. I have a shaman brother friend, star brother, that so we would call them neurological thunderstorms. Where we're hypnotizing ourselves by how we talk to ourselves. But still, I would go through these like miseries of not being able to eat for days, not keeping things down, not being able to like function at all, or have my vision impaired, and just be like take some tea or something sleepy and some herbs to just go to sleep and sleep it off, and listen to healing frequency music, drink my protein shakes, and take certain vitamins and minerals that I thought I would need, and just kind of felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. And then I almost felt like, oh well, I'm supposed to be this healer, but all of us need each other, and there's always another solution, and there's always an answer or a solution. And so coming across this protocol, I'm like, I'm all in, not just for the emotional and mental health, but for this physical aspect, kind of like answered prayers. And so I stuck to it, and within the first 60 days and 90 days, and I started on my sobriety date in February, which was Valentine's Day, and the 3rd was also my Nana's birthday. And I was just kind of a devotion to the next stage of my upgrading my health. And so instead of having basically almost like 12 and 3 months or so, or 4, and now, or well, I guess, had 3.5 of migraines since I started this protocol, implementing the nutrition that's provided, or the super aminos, and I even take the ionic mineral elements or for the minerals, and the power shake, and the super meal, and the recovery time of headaches, and being able to go like, well, instead of having it for 3 days or almost 2 days or whatnot like that, it can be within like a 24-hour span and 16 hours. And that's really nice, from me being able to have that unpredictability, whether it was a day of, the day after, the day before, the week out. It was just building my life around that, and still kind of being able to relax into the aspect of being this new version of myself that can be experiencing more fully, my more full potential, and a more healed version, and healthier, and breathe. So, it's not fully 100%, but it's close enough for me. And it'll just keep getting better as I continue to be consistent with this commitment of my health and transformation, and the cravings reduced and as well shifted. So that feels really good to experience. So thank you. hopefully I
Thank
touched over
you.
everything.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm so glad that you've recovered from the neurological thunderstorms, those migraines. That's beautiful. And it's amazing because you said that you used to experience them like 12 times. You would have experienced them like maybe 12 times in 4 or 5 months, and you've only had two in the last 4 or 5 months since you started. In the last 4 months or 4 migraines?
4 months. It's basically well, since February, so 5 months. Had 3.5 when I would have had almost triple that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So
That's wonderful. So yeah, so this is really awesome. Your brain is getting fed the carbs it needs, right? Because the brain is mostly
regenerating,
carbs.
yes.
Yeah,
The
it's
cell.
regenerating, the brain is mostly carbs, and a lot of times we fuel our bodies with fats thinking that we need that for the brain, and that's just our brain doesn't run on fats. It runs on the fuel of veggies and fruits, and that's glucose, glycogen. Okay. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm gonna go into a little bit about I'm gonna kind of do a little breakdown here. So thank you, ladies, and I might bring you guys back again in a moment. So let's talk a little bit about pregnancy and um miscarriages. That is another thing that women experience that we go through, is having miscarriages, as Heather was sharing her story. And trying to figure out, well, why did I have a miscarriage? What causes a miscarriage? Well, there's different reasons why a person might miscarry. But one of them, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to like what toxins are in the body, it can be different things, but often one of the things that kind of can start to grow through a woman's life and affect every stage of womanhood, womanhood, right? One of the things that can affect every stage is the Epstein-Barr virus. And so let's look at the trajectory of what the Epstein-Barr virus might look like in a woman's body. So when a person is experiencing extreme pain in the womb, when they have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, where they're having these like little fluids filled cysts on their ovaries, this pain will only happen on the side where the egg is dropping, because the egg will drop from side to side, right? It'll drop off the left side 1 month and the right side the next month, and the left and the right. So a person who has PCOS, if they have a cyst on just one ovary, they might have pain just every other month on the left side, right? Or if they have it on both sides, it's like, oh, I have pain on my left side. Now I have pain on my right side. Now I have pain on my left side. Now it's going to go back and forth. Okay. So the pain can show up differently depending on where the cysts are. And so this is one of the stages, one of the kinds of Epstein-Barr virus can show up as polycystic ovarian cyst. Did I say that right? And so I had a girlfriend in high school who had suffered from this miserably. Like she was like Tereshay, just not even showing up in school. And then you have people like Tereshay who have migraines. Okay. And and then we go later in life, and also it can show up as eczema, it can show up as psoriasis. Like there's different, depending on different kinds of metals that are also in the body. So this is it is. I've actually helped a friend of mine and her teenager both overcome polycystic ovarian PCOS. I'm just going to say PCOS because I feel like I keep saying it wrong. PCOS, and there were different stages of life. The mother had already had a baby and she had PCOS, and the other one was a teenager and she had PCOS. But they both were able to fully recover with nutrition. But so you can see the trajectory. EBV can like continue over time, and then later in life, you get pregnant, right? And then, or maybe you have trouble getting pregnant. Or you have a miscarriage, and maybe the Epstein-Barr virus is now targeting the womb, the uterus. And so now there's inflammation, and then it can interrupt the pregnancy. So you've got this inflammation that can be problematic. So it's another good reason to detox before conception, and to actually be fueling up on the right kinds of foods that are high in glycogen, right? And low in acidity, and having like a very high alkaline diet. You want to make sure that your body's getting everything it needs through the pregnancy. And so the other thing that feeds the Epstein-Barr virus is metals. So pathogens, I'm going to say all pathogens, anything virus, anything parasite, anything bacteria, these are all fed by the same foods. And one of those fuels is metals. And another one of those fuels is eggs. Eggs is one of like the highest fuels for any pathogens in the body. Okay, so and then also fats, which come alongside proteins. When you have like proteins, you usually can't separate the fat from the protein. So that's why they say, you know, like keep it minimal. So this is one of the things. So then you get through the pregnancy. And so you want to have, but guess what? If you get to the pregnancy and you haven't detoxed before the pregnancy, and maybe now you're like actually struggling with pregnancy because now your immune system's been vulnerable. And so all of a sudden you're struggling with exhaustion, or just, you know, like having nausea, and like there's things you can still help your body through the pregnancy. And we have a protocol for every trimester of pregnancy. So that's the good news. Okay, I'm going to show you guys the protocols, but there's protocols for the first trimester, the second trimester, and the third trimester. And so you can actually support your body to continue to lift metals. You can support your body to like remove the metals from the body even while the baby's growing. You can support the body to actually remove toxins even while the baby's growing. You can support your body by giving the fuel to the baby that the baby needs while the baby's growing, so it has good developmental, you know, it's developing in body, speech, and mind. And then you get towards the end of the pregnancy, you come to, maybe you're struggling, maybe you're past the pregnancy, now you're struggling with postpartum, and maybe you didn't have like the proper support you needed during the pregnancy, but now it's postpartum, and now you're like, okay, now I've got to like feed this baby from my body, which could be exhausting. You want to also have the right nutrients to support yourself through that process. And so you can actually help yourself get energy postpartum, just like Heather did. So we're going to show you I'm going to show you this 90-day protocol, but I'm also going to show you a very special resource page. While I'm here, let me go ahead and actually share my internet. Okay, so I want to let you guys know about this beautiful page, this beautiful resource page. Is called Sacred Superfoods for Fertility, Birth, and Beyond. This is one of our groups, one of our support groups. And in here, you can do a search for things. And so I went ahead and pulled up the founder of the company that we work with that made the 90-day protocol, the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation, is Dave Sandoval. And this is his wife, Anna Marie Sandoval. They met when she and I were in Hawaii at an event for the company. They fell in love and they had a baby. And so he created protocols that she did. So these are the protocols from the owner's wife, from the founder of the company's wife. And she talks about what to do in each stage of the pregnancy. I'm not going to go into it right now, but here's your first and second trimester. Just so you know, this resource is here. This is the third trimester. Okay. And then she's even talks about what things to avoid. No aloe, no flaxseed, no kava. Okay. But she had a wonderful, healthy pregnancy, gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, Cornelia. And so like that. And then this is the protocol, the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation, that I highly recommend. We didn't talk about menopause yet. We will get to that at the end. But the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation is a 90-day protocol, a superfoods protocol that has the most amazing nutrients on the planet, farmed from our regenerative farms. When I say regenerative farms, are organic farms that actually have some regenerative practices, such as putting compost on, rotating crops, things that actually make the nutrients really high in the foods. So you are what food eats, right? You are what you eat, and you are what your food eats. And so your food is eating the best quality nutrients from an organic, healthy organic farm that has regenerative, sustainable practices. And so here we go. Look what's in here. This is great. Now, this version would be great after breastfeeding because it has the super cleanser herbs, or before getting pregnant because of the super cleanser herbs. But everything else a pregnant mama can have. A pregnant person can have all of these things without the super cleanser herbs. Okay, so you can have the power shake and the super aminos, the apothecary juice, and the biomedic. What is amazing about this power shake is this is really, really got amazing greens in it. It's got spirulina. It's got barley green juice powder. And barley green juice is amazing for creating healthy breast milk. And it also helps, both spirulina and barley juice also help kill viruses. They also help lift metals from the body. So this is nutrition that can assist you in preparing the body for a healthy conception and a healthy pregnancy. So this one of these shakes is literally equivalent to 6 microgreen salads. It has the nutrients that we have, also the super meal, which you could have, which is equivalent to like 36 different organic vegetables. And this has the millet and the quinoa in it that I was talking about earlier. This is great brain food for the baby. And it has all different kinds of, it's just a delicious, delicious drink too. Appleberry is the flavor that most people is their favorite. You can choose. And then you've got these super aminos, which is this plant-based protein. So this is a great way to get your protein without having all the fat and without having the acidity that comes along with dairy, meat, and eggs. So this is going to be a great way to support the body. 1 servings of this is equivalent to the protein that you get in a steak. So this is going to give you everything you need. You take this a couple times a day, you have a couple shakes a day, and you have the apothecary juice, which is your fruit. So you got your greens, you got your protein, and then you've got your fruit. So the apothecary juice is naturally occurring melatonin. So the mamas who are exhausted and depleted postpartum and during pregnancy and before pregnancy, this is going to help your body really restore it and replenish itself, because you're going to have double the dream time, double that REM sleep, the deepest sleep possible with naturally occurring melatonin. It's not ideal to take melatonin. You want to get melatonin through foods that already naturally have it in them and that help you also produce melatonin. Okay, so this is amazing. It's also very detoxing. It also helps with burning fat off the middle, because it helps with balancing cortisol levels. And cortisol is actually what causes us to pack fat around the middle, that stress hormone. Okay, it helps us pack fat around the middle because it's protecting our organs. It's like, hey, I'm going to help you. You're stressed out. And so like that. We've got the Biomedic, which is the Biomedic is incredible. It has this is what removes glyphosate. 74.5% of glyphosate in 6 weeks. This is an incredible, incredible product, and highly recommend it for everyone, including your animals. I give it to my cat. I've seen cats and dogs have amazing transformations just with the Biomedic, just a little half a capsule. So this is going to help restore the gut. This is going to help your body absorb more nutrients. It's wonderful. The super cleanser herbs, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you can set those aside for later. You can set those aside for when you're past the breastfeeding stage. And these, because this pack is so inexpensive, it actually, it's you get such a discount on this. You're going to get 25% off from whoever invited you. They can give you the discount code for 25% off. It's actually so much cheaper to buy in a pack than if you were going to buy these individually, that this actually is a free product. So the super cleansers is actually just a freebie that just comes with it. And so you can just set those aside or give them to your partner. And you get to choose choose the shakes that you want. Comes with this beautiful blender bottle. You definitely can blend it up with fruit if you like, or berries, or just have it with almond milk or some kind of, and you're going to have these twice a day. You're going to have the supplements twice a day, and you're going to have the meals, these wonderful shakes twice a day as meal replacements. And this is going to also help curb cravings, because when you flood your body with nutrients, you actually stop craving. You stop craving sugar. You stop craving the bad sugars, the processed foods. Those things start to go away because your body's feeling satisfied. So this is $12 a day. It's only $12 a day. So $6 covers a meal plus your supplements in the morning, and then your meal plus your supplements in the afternoon. And then you can have a healthy clean and green meal for dinner. Steamed broccoli, brown rice, whatever, vegetables, do a medley, potatoes, sweet potatoes. I mean, you can have a lot of different foods, and you can flavor them up with whatever spices you like, and you can make it delicious. Okay. And so this is $12 a day. I saved $300 my first month when I did this. I've been on the like half of these products. I've been doing like the half of this, which is the maintenance pack, for 9 years now. And so I had Hashimoto's, and my Hashimoto's is now gone. I don't have any sign of it. My blood work is great, and I'm no longer anemic. So this has really helped me a lot. Some people actually develop gestational diabetes. They might have pregnancy onset Hashimoto's. And so I highly recommend doing this protocol if you cultivate that during your pregnancy, to help you start to deal with that and your body start to recover from those things. And so there is a protocol that we recommend of food, and it comes with a brochure that tells you everything, and lots of support. We have that support group. We have another support group, our Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation support group as well. So the retail value on this, this is your groceries for the month, okay? The retail is $480. You're going to get it for $120 off, $360 with the gift code. And again, this is your groceries. This is basically like the majority, 60 of your 90 meals. This is 60 of the 90 meals that you're going to eat in a month. And so that's your first month. You're going to get started, click the get started today. And then on here, you're going to see that you can customize and create the shakes you want. So right here, would you like to customize? And then you see this drop down list, and you can just choose whichever 2 things you want. Now, if you are pregnant, I would stick to the power shake. If you're breastfeeding, maybe a couple super meals. It's up to you. Some people feel that the maca is controversial. So when you're breastfeeding, you can do all power shake, but some people do choose the love shake, but that's a personal decision. Super meal, love, this one. That one's a personal decision. That one does have maca in it. So do your own research and decide whether you're comfortable with that or not. Some people love it and some people don't. It goes down in price your second and third months. So the second and third months, it's only $340. It's actually, these are with the taxes added on, but it's $330 and plus tax. And then the shipping is free. So you get to choose your shakes again for second month and third month. And then this is what I've been doing for 9 years, is this month 4. And this, I've just swear by this. You can choose your shakes again, but this is amazing to stay on this. I personally stayed on this pack for a full year. Me personally, I was feeling so good. I never wanted it to end. I really do still live on 2 shakes a day. So I pretty much order about this much still 9 years later. That's kind of like my go-to. So there you have it. I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen, and would love to kind of have a discussion here. If you'd like to, if anybody wants to ask questions, go ahead and throw any questions in the chat, or you can come off mute, and I'll do my best to answer that. Yeah, it just says my McDonald's meal costs me that much these days, right? Exactly. Or a McDonald's meal, not your McDonald's. I don't think you eat at McDonald's, but yeah, that's what it costs these days. Yeah. Even when I'm eating at Amy's, which is an organic fast food restaurant, I still spend at least that much money. Yes, Heather.
Yeah, there's like a vegan restaurant. It's like 2 meals, $55. And yeah, it's just nice that we have the opportunity to be the change and to kind of break the patterns of our generations and make way so we can really thrive and have more peaceful life together and for our next generation.
Exactly. So I've got Heather's hand raised and I've got Margaret's hand. So Heather, you go first.
Yeah, I'm curious to know how important it is for the men to do
Oh,
detox.
so important. Oh my God. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This is such a huge, important topic. Let me talk about that. The men, you guys got to detox before you get anyone pregnant. And this is why everything that's in the sperm goes into the body of the woman, all right, or the female. Everything goes into everything. All toxins get carried in sperm. Okay, so semen has everything in it, and so whatever metals the guy might have is going to end up in the woman. And so if you're wanting to help prevent her, if you're wanting to help her, if she has HPV is fed by metals. So you could be contributing to that. If you're not detoxing and you have metals in your body, that could be contributing to anything that the female body is experiencing. Okay. So it feeds the Epstein-Barr virus, it feeds streptococcus, it feeds all the different viral loads in the body. So that is so important, Heather. God, I love you for remembering to bring that up. I did want to, it was on my notes to talk about, but I almost forgot to get there.
Well, I wanted to mention it because so my fiance, like we were trying to get pregnant for 2 years, and then he did his own version of a detox, which included not drinking alcohol and he stopped taking pain meds for he had really bad arthritis in his knees, which he later had his knees replaced.
Mhm.
But it was like as soon as he stopped drinking and taking pain meds, I got pregnant after
Oh,
about
wow.
2 years of trying.
Yeah, amazing. And then part of it too is also mindset, because when we're if anybody's ever been on birth control, you're telling the body over and over again, don't get pregnant, right? You're like saying, so there's also the mindset of like, okay, it's okay now. Tell your body it's okay now, we can do this. Because just think about how much the body responds to the mind. All right. So we want to like give ourselves positive messages, as Tara Shea is so good at. And
Yeah, and
so
the natural ways of birth control, the natural aspects on being able to balance our bodies and the power of our mental attitude towards it all, and
Mhm.
how that all affects our quality of experience. Thanks for touching on both parties.
Yeah, thank you. Margaret, you're muted.
Yeah. Hi. Also just a little bit about menopause because I'm currently going through the
Oh,
menopause
good. Yes, we
and
need to get to that. So many
um
topics. Thank you.
and so one of the experiences is I had with the menopause is lack of sleep. I'd be falling asleep, but then I would wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and be up for hours. So insomnia was a major issue. Um, Also, foggy thinking. And then also my moods were like off the charts and everywhere, right? So, and I did this protocol, started in January, and within the first month, I was sleeping much better. I was waking up refreshed. My thinking was like unbelievable. I was like, there was like, you know how you can like do all the things that you want to do to have a better mindset and to have clearer thinking and everything, but sometimes there's just this, there's something that's standing in the way, but you can't put your finger on it. But then you address the nutrition and la la, that's what it was. It was not, that was one of the tricks for helping me have clearer thinking and being able to have more, it's not control, but more of a way of steering my thoughts and the hormones. And so I just wanted to just bring that up a little bit because it has made a huge difference. I didn't lose a lot of weight, but I have lost some pounds, and it's different, especially with the nutrition support. I'm sculpting more than I'm like there's a change in the fat context. I mean,
Content.
fat content of what's holding on to my body. So I
Mm.
just,
So you're getting more toned, Margaret. You're toning up.
yeah,
All those,
toning up in so many ways.
that's so that's so beautiful. And so your sleep improved. You started sleeping through the night. You started having more energy, and
Mhm,
like overall, you're just feeling great.
mhm,
I love it.
yeah.
I love it. So that's a great menopause story. I also have a girlfriend of mine who is on the team, and she was a yoga teacher struggling with menopause for um I don't know how long she was struggling with it, but she was going through it. She was 50 at the time, and she yeah, thank you. I was trying to like figure out my controls here. She was really struggling with pain, and she thought that she was going to have to close down her yoga studio because she was in so much pain, and she was feeling like, I just can't even get through the day. I can't teach 5 yoga classes anymore. I'm not going to be able to make it. And then she did this detox, and she was so shocked She came into class one day and she said, I skipped here. I skipped the whole way from my house. I was so happy. I had such a good, good night. I slept so well. I no longer have pain in my body. She kept the studio open for another couple of years. She was able to continue but she relieved herself of all the menopausal pain. Now, there is a whole talk on menopause. If you guys want that video, definitely go listen to the menopause video, because I go deep, deep, deep into menopause and how, long story short, is some women have the change of life and they have no symptoms, none, just like my period just stopped naturally, quietly, no pain, no hot flashes, no exhaustion, no fatigue. And in the past, historically, this has been a time when women look forward to, because in menopause meant more energy. Menopause was a time when women would have more energy and actually feel better in their bodies. What? That is not how we see it today. But this is historically how it's been. And so it's really interesting that what has become associated with menopause is actually a fourth stage of Epstein-Barr virus, where the Epstein-Barr virus has gotten to a point where now the body is super exhausted. And one thing we did not talk about, which I totally meant to talk about, is that, speaking of babies and the womb, one of the things that can be passed on through a mother's womb is metals. And may seem like ancient history, but only in the last century or so, it's a couple centuries ago, our great 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 grandmothers, however many greats back that was, were treated by quacks. Okay, they were given something called quicksilver to remedy whatever was going on. Anybody know what quicksilver is? Mercury water. You got it. I can see people mouthing it. Mercury water. So quicksilver was mercury water. Unfortunately, it wasn't their fault. They were given mercury water. They drank it. It made them crazy and hysterical, which means the womb. Women were going crazy. And unfortunately, as they had children, they passed on that mercury through the womb. And so a lot of us still have that mercury. And we're still detoxing from generations past. Wasn't their fault. They didn't mean it. As my boyfriend would say, they didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. Not their fault. We can't blame them. But we can still work to detox ourselves before we have a baby so we don't pass that on. But that, like I said, those metals feed viruses, they feed pathogens, they feed parasites, they feed the Epstein-Barr virus. I didn't mention that those super cleanser herbs are anti-parasitic. So they will kill parasites, they will kill pathogens, they will help sweep out the colon. And so that's a really wonderful part of the cleanse, is getting to have that sweep. This is not a fast. Some people associate cleansing and detoxing with fast. It's not a fast. We're not fasting. We're eating food. We're eating fruits and vegetables throughout the day. You're getting to eat while you're on this protocol. So know that. And we want to continue to help our womb folk to eliminate metals from their wombs. And also men do the work too to eliminate it from the sperm. Tereshay.
Yeah. I was just gonna say about so it's a
You're breaking up, honey. You're breaking up.
It's a combination of things, our mental and emotional body, our physical health. But you would agree then this generation would be going through
I can't hear you anymore. You're freezing, babe. Can you type it in the chat, please? Type it in the chat, sweetie. Because I can't hear you. You're completely frozen and quiet. Yeah, so, we definitely can approach our health from various ways. Just to kind of summarize, we want to eat the right foods. We want to have more fruits and vegetables in our diet. We want to eat more potatoes and sweet potatoes and those kinds of things. One of the things I didn't mention to avoid while pregnant, chocolate. Yikes. Chocolate is another thing to avoid when pregnant. And it's got alkaloids in it. Okay, like cocaine, alkaloids. We want to avoid those alkaloids. when pregnant, and it's very common. Women, we've learned to medicate ourselves with chocolate when we're menstruating, when we're pregnant, when whatever's tired, whatever, depressed, anxiety, whatever's going on, we've learned to medicate, and we really want to kind of pause on the chocolate cravings. Okay, we want to slow that down, and it took me a lot of work to try to get off chocolate. That was definitely not the easiest one, but we do want to minimize that as much as possible, and during pregnancy I wouldn't advise it at all. It's astringent, it's got alkaloids, it's too stimulating for the building of a baby's body. Okay.
Which
Any
product
last
were you just talking about? Or what food thing? I missed that.
Oh, what I was just talking about was avoiding cacao.
Oh, okay.
Because it's an alkaloid. It's
I
got
have,
alkaloids in it.
I have a question.
Okay.
I was wondering about if one gets a head injury, can that actually activate an illness in the body rather than a virus from injuries of the head, concussions, or?
Yeah, I mean, that's a real thing. I mean, that's not a virus, obviously, right? That's like an actual physical injury to the brain. And yeah, I mean, it can, people who get concussions often get tinnitus, the ringing in the ear.
That's what I have, yeah. So I'm
You
thinking
have that.
yeah, I think that's what activated probably everything, Hashimoto's and stuff. Is
Wow.
because I had 2 concussions. I mean, they were intense, but not real bad. But I was just thinking maybe that's what created the illness instead of a virus.
Oh, well, if it's an illness, it's going to be pathogen based. Okay. But if it's like, if it's an injury, that's not an illness. Okay. But an injury can be so traumatic that it can release a huge ton of adrenaline into the system, and that norepinephrine feeds the pathogens, and that can cause a proliferation. So sometimes people, often after an accident, and since we're talking about womb talk, also after birth, when women give birth, oftentimes they're going to have 99.99.9999999% of the time, they're going to have a huge dump of adrenaline in the body, like tons of adrenaline. And that adrenaline during an accident and during a pregnancy is going to cause a sudden onset of whatever viral load is going to feed the virus like crazy. And you can have a sudden onset of Hashimoto's, of even sometimes people will get cancer, or after a major traumatic accident, people will often develop some kind of illness because that adrenaline is just now fed that virus. So, I mean, a concussion is a trauma. That's going to also release like a ton of adrenaline because the body's like, let's protect the brain,
Yeah, it activates. It activates.
Yeah, it's a trigger. For sure. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I think that's a good place to end. I don't see any comments in the chat. Oh, can you talk about typical eating day during and after the detox? Yes. So I eat potatoes. I eat sometimes brown rice pasta. I try to do like garbanzo. I actually do like a lentil-based pasta. As far as bases, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, any fruits, any vegetables. You always kind of want to keep, in general, you want to keep fats low in general, because they require they require that adrenaline, the norepinephrine, to break down those complex molecules. Healthy fats are things like hemp seeds are healthy fats. Borage, like if you're gonna do omega oils, you want to avoid fish oils, but you can do like borage, primrose, flaxseed oil. Not if you're pregnant. You're not doing flax if you're pregnant. But you can definitely have those fats. Coconut is the best. As far as the oils, if you were ever going to cook with an oil, coconut is the best. And avocados are wonderful. Our avocados are a wonderful form of fats. It's actually avocados are very low fat compared to oils. Okay, so we just want to get our fats naturally from whole foods and not from oils. If you want to eat meat, that's totally up to you. Yeah, I mean, you can totally eat meat. I just still say for health, if you want to stay healthy, keep it very minimum. Like don't eat it every day, like a couple of times a week. Do it skinless chicken breast, or do like do salmon, wild caught salmon or halibut or haddock are the best fishes to have, the cleanest fishes. Pretty much all fish has metals in it now. All meat pretty much has metals in it now. And so for the reasons of acidity, it's good to avoid meat, and for the reason and dairy and eggs, and also because that acidity is going to cause your body to produce cholesterol and unhealthy cholesterol, and it's going to cause your body to leach calcium into the system, because calcium is alkaline, and so your body's going to try to buffer the blood from the acidity by creating cholesterol and also pulling calcium from the bones. Those are all these suggestions, all these things are in my YouTube video. They're also in my YouTube videos, the cooking videos that come when you join. And then also they're on the ULT support page, our Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation Support Group. And then you're also going to have regular access to us. So when you're on this protocol, we're here to help you every step of the way. You can text us every day. You can call us. I mean, we're here for you. You're not going to be alone. We're going to walk you through the process. And then we also have a website that also has a lot of information on it. There's a support page. I just posted in the chat, the Superfood Social Lifestyle Support. All right. Hopefully I've answered all the questions. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. And have a great day. Lots of love. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Tara Shea, for your wonderful stories.
Yeah, thank you, Heather, Rachel, and Tara Shea. Take care. Have a good day.
Bye, all.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.